Shit.
Good morning. Good morning. We do have a few guests that we would like to introduce. And we have a special guest that that President Crosby will introduce.
I have two guests this morning, both visiting.
Hey, folks, I'm going to use my deep voice. My dad is introducing his daughter.
So again, I'd like to say I'm delighted that two people both studying up there at Rotary State, who's studying ballet, and my daughter Ella, who is avid swimmer, championship swimmer, we're both visiting the break for a week.
Ella, thank you for joining us. We also have Jeff Brown, who is a guest with us. Thank you, Jeff. You can ask Steve who who. Thank you, everyone. First and foremost, it's good to see a lot of familiar faces. Mine is that I go back. Anyway, it's exciting to be here. Also, excited to be back in your own home. We all have been to places of meeting back in the Breakfast Club right now. Y'all we don't have a home. So, jealous of what we have. Austin. There's a few moments on Rotary, a little bit about kind of what I'm driving in the Harrison County clubs. Very, very excited to work with Dr. Michael Babb, district governor. You all might know Michael. Michael was a member of the Breakfast Club. Michael personally, wife. So much excitement going on with the leadership of the club. Really, after obviously very challenging. Yes, the other piece that I'm striving for, I know Betsy's a big part of this. Not so much in working the club from all the way to the better stream idea of insurance. For success as a little where I do think that there are some things together. So my push, I'm going to leave you all with this, definitely is service of oneself. What I mean by that, the Breakfast Club had an envisioning program that was directed by the district of other people. Breakfast Club came up with 3 big ideas. The second idea was for our club to have marriage. People to be doers. We all can write checks at our club. It's important. I think there's been a piece, especially over the last 12 to 16 months. I don't think we've got our hands in the service of ourselves. Maybe where I hope we put into their future. I've got a challenge. I think Lori agrees. I agrees with me with me that we have an opportunity. Look at it. Right now, there is a
Up in Franklin. I bet a lot of you all heard of it. The founding member is a member of our club of One Generation Away. And they do food distributions at food banks and help provide food for those in need. And every about 3 or 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4 Saturdays, they are around Middle Tennessee distributing food. Tomorrow morning at 7:30, we have an opportunity right in your back door on Harding Place and Nolensville Road. Obviously, there's a huge Hispanic community there. We set a record last year and we served 750 families with food. Tomorrow, we're expecting about 300 to 350 families. The noon club and the morning club will be there, and I would like to personally invite anybody that wants to try to get their hands dirty or get involved in giving back to the community. Would love for you all to join us tomorrow at about 7:30. If anybody wants to ask me the exact address, I have it. It's under One Generation Away. But the key is we're providing to those in need for food. And I can't think of many things more important than doing that. And I think it would be an excellent opportunity to, again, get your hands dirty. And I would welcome you to join me tomorrow. I'm so excited I picked this day to come visit because I look forward to your all's presentation. Y'all, thank you very much.
Jeff, so if y'all show up tomorrow, come back and tell me, and you will get a makeup for that thing.
Yes.
Jordan, you want to help us do checkbooks? Sure, why not?
Thank you so much. All right, we'll start off over here.
I'm happy for $5, and I'm happy today because I have seen a whole lot of faces I haven't seen in a while. And it is always great to see some of my friends from all the way back when I joined so many years ago. Lori, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Matt Kelton, it's good to see you. It's great to see Rod. It's great to see Larry. I value seeing you guys. So I see you all. But I value seeing you guys. Please come back all the time.
I'm excited to see Jordan Barrett here, in spite of the orientation that Keely and Jim Phillips and I did with him a couple weeks ago. So, Jordan, good to see you. Okay. And also, I want to thank Jared for returning my name tag after he stole it. I don't know what you were doing with it. Anyway, I appreciate that.
I'm putting 5 in today for my daughters being here with me. I wish they would have been here last week, but I'm glad they're here with us this week. And also for our Nolensville boys baseball team, who will be in the college Little League World Series next week. So be sure to watch and cheer them on.
2 days ago, 58 years ago, my wife and I celebrated our wedding. And 2 days ago was the 58th anniversary.
I have had one driving new, thanks to Chevy and I pickup truck. We spent the last 3 to
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to welcome Ella and Faith. I know their mom well, and I think they're just an awesome family. And I have not announced yet my new grandson who was born around the same time Jonathan had a new one. I have 3 granddaughters and now a grandson, and I get to see him again next weekend. So I'm happy about that. I'm putting in $20, everybody. Not because I'm gonna talk that long, but this is my first in-person meeting back. My first in-person meeting back during Betsy's year, but more importantly, I'm paying up on all of my happy bucks while I was on Zoom. So, that's why. Thanks, Sarah. Anybody else?
Hey, fellas up the road. Last week I forgot that I had a grandson for the second.
Hi there, so this is my first meeting back too, and most of you all probably don't even recognize me because before quarantine, I'd only been to like 4 meetings. So, I first come back, and it's finally went back to school. I don't know if Sheila is here, but I just want to say how proud I was of the Williamson County School Board on Tuesday night. They did such a good job in the worst circumstances. I have 3 kids at Crockett, and I was so proud of them and how they held the forum and the decisions made. I thought they did such a good job. And I also put in $20 because I volunteered at the Grand Prix last weekend, and some folks, I was driving people around in golf carts, and people kept tipping me, so I'm putting it in our happy. I volunteered, so I'm putting it in our happy.
For all the new members that had to really, like I'm a teacher, I'll do that. It's very serious thing. It's like, okay, well, you can. No. Everybody who was here who was new, and for everybody who was here that enjoyed all of our fellowship for so many years, it's just a joy to be back. I mean, it was not a normal year last year. It was not a normal year the year before, Sarah. Keely. I hope this year will be normal. It's kind of teetering at this point, but y'all just do the things you need to do to stay well. And I'll just leave it at that. It's really important to take lots of vitamin C, take vitamin D, and, work out, all right? This is from the non-workout queen. Start it. Speaking of name tags, right? We are going to get magnetic name tags because the film name tags, end up being a real problem. So thank you to those 60 of you. I couldn't believe it. I thought, when we send something out by email, nobody ever reads it. Nobody. 60 in 2 days. Less than 24 hours. So we have the votes for those 60 people. I said I'd go ahead and take votes until next Thursday. I may close it off till next Tuesday because we all want to know what the deal is. But there's tough competition between 2 of the 3. I'll put it that way. So vote your preference, and we will see who wins, and then we will get the magnetic name tags in place. So, yeah. And now our golf tournament king, Larry Kane.
Jeff, man, I'm so glad you're here. Jeff's club has the absolute best golf tournament ever. And Al Adams with their club has been a big help to me ever since I started our tournament. And I mean, you guys rock. I mean, we all should learn what they do. It's phenomenal. They've done it for 20 plus years, I think. So glad you're here. I wish I knew you were coming. I'd work you in my program. So let's play a little game today, real quick. So how many people here own stock in a company of being sold? Small, large, about everybody. Okay, so we're all kind of stockholders. So let's pretend that we're stockholders in a new, or not new, a 5-year-old company that's called Crossley Family Golf Company. And the Crossley Family Golf Company started in 2017. We're having a special call stockholders meeting today for all us stockholders to talk about it. Our fiscal year end is 9/27. That's the tournament date. Our fiscal year end is 9/27. So we've got a little time before that. But let's take a real quick look at what we've done so we can kind of know where we are today versus what we've done in the past. 2017, we made $33,000 in our first year. That was pretty good. We had 42% of our stockholders participate. Not bad for the first year. Second year, we made $58,000. We had 64% of our stockholders participate. That was a lot better, obviously. You can see our new investors, i.e. sponsors, jumped up pretty substantially. 2019, unbelievable, $68,000, 75% of our stockholders participated. Wonderful, 75%. We had 206 sponsors. Man, well, we're rocking, right? So here comes 2020, and y'all know what happens. COVID comes along, hey, we still made $80,000. Not bad. 72% we dropped. For some reason, some people decided not to participate. And then our new investors, 160. So you can see we lost about 40 investors. So where are we today, 45 days out from our fiscal year end? Where are we today? We had a tournament today, we'd make $67,000. Less than we made for the last 2 years. We have 64% participation, the worst we've had since 2018. We've got 121 sponsors, which you can see is substantially less than 2020 and particularly 2019. So what I'm telling you, you get my point? Our company needs some work over these next 45 days. We need to get out there and get some investors in here. Our stock price is going to drop if we don't. I hope you're thinking about our company and what our company does and how we use the money that we get. Inclusive playground, scholarships, India, all the different charities in Williamson County that we give to, where our money's going. We need to keep our company healthy and strong. We need to finish these last 45 days strong. 2 weeks from today is August the 27th. That's a key date because 30 days out from our tournament, we have to start making signs and flags and banners and all the stuff we put out on the course. So we need to get as many of our sponsors in by then as we can. We can still take them after that, but we risk that. You get in there 5 days before the tournament, we may not get your name out there. That's not very good for a sponsor. So let's make sure we're all aware that the 27th, 2 weeks from today, is a key day to get as many of your sponsors that you haven't quite had the time to call yet to call. Okay? Next 2 weeks are very important. Thank you to everyone who's contributed. Don't forget, we have a 100-day monster sales contest. Right now, nobody's qualified. $300 is on the line, or $500. $300 if you bring in 2 new sponsors. We've got 6 people who brought in 1 new sponsor. So if one of those would just come in and bring in another, that even said they qualify. Any member who brings in $1,500 or more in sponsors is in a drawing for $500. Right now, Patrick Wright has brought in $750. So he's the leader in getting qualified. But nobody's qualified, so that's hanging out there for you guys to win. Excuse me, you stockholders to win. So 2 weeks, do what you can do, 45 days, we gotta have it by fiscal year end. Let's make our company rock, y'all. Thank you.
By the way, Larry's a great chairman of the board, and as CEO, I approve everything he just said. So get it done. All right. Rotary moment, let's. So the Rotary moment is going to be short and sweet. Here's what we do. It's our vision statement. And you're going to see a perfect example of how we represent this as a club today. People coming together here to unite and take action. We're going to be people of action this year. We've been that way all like this entire club. In fact, because of this statement right here, you'll hear what we do right now with our board. But because of what we've done over the years, we're even going to have a presentation by our past presidents to outline since 1973 when we were first chartered. You're going to see what we've done in all those years. You know, this year is 49. Next year, golden anniversary of this club. So big things, what a perfect time to be doing all these things we're doing, getting back on our feet. And this represents exactly what we are, who we are, and what we do. All right, speakers for today. Oh, real quick, let me remind you that there's a really cool thing going on in Chattanooga on October the 1st, which is a Friday. We're going to have our incoming president for Rotary International, Jennifer Jones, who will be the first woman to be president of RI. John Germ, past president who lives in Chattanooga, will be there speaking. And also the director of Zone 3031 will be there. It's an event that's going to be a luncheon. And it's going to start at 8:30 and it'll go all the way to a little bit early in the afternoon. But the point is, it's only $25 and it's so close by. So if you're interested in doing this, you can get with either Dick or you can get with me, and we will give you all the information to what you need to get register for that. It's a great opportunity, and you'll have the opportunity during that time to also help plan the future of what Rotary will be like in Zone 3031. So please remember that. I can't be there because I've got to go to a funeral that weekend, but I really, if you get the chance, you don't get this chance very often. And that's it. So now, speakers. So will the board of directors please come up and take your seats appropriately? I think we've got everybody pretty much on one side or the other of the table that's going to be here today. A couple of folks had to be absent. Probably not the least of which will be Jason Hollis. Called me this morning. He says, speaking of Friday 13th, I only had one person show up to work today. He is going to try to join us by Zoom, which will be fantastic. Okay, he's on. So thank you, Jason, for joining us. He has said he will have to leave us if he has to answer the phone. So I may let him start us off in just a second. So, board of directors, what do? They manage the mission of our club. Who are the board of directors? What committees do they have? Why is one of our club requirements that every member has to serve on a minimum of 2 committees? People of action. And that includes Rule of 85. The only thing Rule of 85 does for you is make you not have to pay for the meals, not have to come to the meetings if you can't make it. You're still required to pay all of our dues. You're still required to participate in any service activities you can. And we need you because there are lots of Rule of 85 members in this club. So don't forget, you are as important as anybody else. And you need to step up and do what you've been doing all these years to make this club so great. So how we manage to fundraise, Jane, is going to be how we manage to do good throughout the world, in our community and throughout the world. So let me say that today, each of our officers and directors are going to remind you how this club works together. If you haven't decided which committees you're going to be on this year yet, and there are a few that have not, please let me know or let Drew know which committee you'd like to be on. We also are going to offer folks here today that you can come up and sign up right here in person if you'd like. Otherwise, you can email me a little bit later on. By the way, if you got any questions, you can always send an email to me and I'll try my best to find out who can answer that question for you, even if it's an RI question. So first of all, we're going to go ahead and start with Jason since he's here. Jason is our public relations director on the board. So Jason, you want to tell us a little bit about what you do and who's on your committee and that sort of thing?
Sure. Thanks, Betsy. Can you hear me?
Barely. Hang on 2 seconds. We'll turn it up a little bit.
How about now?
Just speak as loudly as you can, I think.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Good enough? Okay. All right. So public relations, it says it in the name. I'm here to cover all the events and the good things that Rotary is doing and send it out to the media by social media such as Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and anything that the club does that needs to be known by the community at large. That's what I'm here to do. It's a great way to display all of the events and the way we give back to the community. Our Facebook page has been ran by Michael Heineman, and Jay Cook has been gracious enough to be adding pictures to that. I've been kind of running the LinkedIn, and the Instagram is starting to get up. But lucky to have some great partners. Jody Raw with Williamson Herald is going to be helping me out with this, and hopefully Jay will continue to participate in some of the social media. So how can the club help? Really, if you're volunteering on behalf of the club, doing any type of events in the name of Rotary, let myself or Jody know so we can get that publicized. If one of us is not there, or if Jay Cook's not there to take pictures also, if you can snap a few pictures to go along with your story to send to me or Jody, just to so we can get that out to the social media platforms. That's a great way to be a part of what I do. Also, make sure you're joining the groups on Facebook and on LinkedIn. And then when things do get posted, liking those posts and sharing those amongst your connections can make the spider web grow tremendously, and we can get all the good news out that the Rotary Club is doing. So that's basically what my chair is charged to do, and hopefully get the word out and show people the great things we're doing and get them involved and maybe join the club or visiting.
Hey, Jason, quickly, if you do something in the community in the name of Rotary, you attend things on committee assignments or that sort of thing, always know that you get a makeup for the time that you spend doing that as well. And this year, we're going to have a really big drive to try to get ourselves out in public and make Rotary known throughout the community. And in addition, the fact that we are often partnering with the Morning Club. So how Rotary affects this community will be pretty well known by the end of this time. Folks who are on that committee right now: Stuart Day, Kip Dodson, Beth Dormany, Dan Jordan, Norris Johnson, Jack Massari, Lynn McGill, Jody Rose, and Sana Robinson. And speaking of Jody, I did forget to say one thing. Her husband Eric is in Williamson Medical. He's been in and out 3 or 4 days this week. So if y'all would keep him in mind, he's having some issues with some blood sepsis. So we'll hope things work out well. Unfortunately, all the hospitals are full of COVID, and they're trying to find a room. So I hope that's the case. All right. Thanks, Jason. Now we're going to start off with our officers, starting with our past president, who needs no introduction or name tag, unfortunately. Keely Hall.
Keely Hall, the past president, or as many of you like to remind me, that has been. As proof of my has been status is my handwritten name tag that says past president on half of the membership name tag. So I'm the has been. The whole purpose of my existence is to serve as a reminder to Betsy of what not to do. So hopefully I will do that job well. I also, as a secondary purpose, would be the person who calls the past president's council, if ever necessary, to gather the past presidents together to discuss any business that needs to be discussed. Something along those lines, or host that. Also, I just like to talk. So there's that. What can the club do for me and my committee? I've been trying to get you people to laugh at my jokes for over a year now. So some sort of help in that area would be great. That is all.
Thank you, Keely. Appreciate it. And I can't tell you the number of times I've started looking at you, come on, girl, really? Equally as appreciated is Drew Rogers, who has the other half of the membership tag, and not only that, she's going to be one of these. So, great.
Come on.
You're on.
I think they're hilarious, Keely. Just for what it's worth. Let the record show.
And I didn't get to say this during Happy Bucks, but Faith, you and I share something in common because you were a dancer, right? Okay, wonderful. I also got a scholarship to dance in college. And for anyone that is interested in knowing more about that story, I'm happy. It was not bad, no, but probably gave it all. I'm presenting the secretary and treasurer. So I'll start with treasurer since that's not one of the laddered officer positions. I previously served as the treasurer prior to Patrick Wright, who is not with us today. He's on vacation and he needs it because he's the treasurer. The role of the treasurer is to collect dues from the members, to maintain the financial records of the club, act as a signer on the club's checking accounts, write checks to vendors. And I'm kind of jumping around here, I'm sorry, but establishing a budget and then reporting the financial results of the club to the board on a monthly basis when the board of directors meets. We are also work with our accountants to prepare tax returns on an annual basis, which Steve Passon has been very generous to help us with that in the past. He held my hand during my time as the treasurer. And then it's also to hoard club records that date back to extraordinary years of like the mid-90s, because I still have accounting records of the club from the mid-90s, which makes no sense, but we don't want to get rid of them. So what you can do to help the treasurer is you can pay your dues. Pay your dues so that he doesn't have to chase you to collect the payment of dues. And that's probably the best thing you can do for your club treasurer. I am currently serving as the secretary, which is a laddered officer position with the Brentwood Rotary Club. When I say laddered officer position, that means that I'm on the leadership ladder and I'm on the lowest rung of the leadership ladder. So in 2 years, you'll be fortunate enough to have me as your club president. My current role in the role of secretary is the keeper of the meeting minutes. It's also, so as we meet as a board, I'm making sure that I'm keeping track of what we're actually doing, and then we can report out what we did in previous meetings of the board when we meet again. I also manage membership. So as new members come in, applications are collected and then move through the various stages of the membership process. I have to make sure that we are keeping track of that and that we are actually moving those things. That's an adjustment process, and I'm probably not doing a great job of it right now, but I will do a good job of it by the end of the year. I'll also attend PETS, the PresidentElect training seminar, later this year on behalf of the club, and that's where I will learn how to become as good of a president as President Betsy or Keith. What you can do to help me is pray for me. Keep me in your prayers over the next 2 years as I ascend to different positions of the club, and your grace, in all seriousness, your grace and support are the best things that you can do for anyone on the officer ladder. So thank you.
One of the great things about secretary, they're the hardest working person in the club, so they get used to that. And then when it gets to be president, it's like, yeah, I could be secretary, so I'm happy, right? Okay, next, we're going to continue with Jonathan, who's our vice president, real quick. Jonathan, I got the Scooby-Doo version on the back because I misspelled president and actually spelled perversion. So at least he got a name tag, so he should be happy. But go ahead.
Thank you. Like Jason, I'm one of the newest members on the board, and my primary responsibility is to serve as your program director. And so, excuse me, my goal is to find the best speakers possible for us, and a good variety of such. I'm looking forward to some of our upcoming speakers. One will be the Chancellor of Vanderbilt University, the CEO of the Williamson County Medical Center, Chris Clark from Channel 5, Doug Matthews to talk some football with us, Shane Foster, former basketball great at Vanderbilt, who works with the YWCA. There's some of the speakers we have lined up. We are booked with the exception of maybe 2 meetings through the end of this calendar year. And so I'm starting to work on next year. What you can do to help me is to bring recommendations to me and to help me connect with potential speakers. Now, I want to qualify that by saying one of the things we're trying to do, there are a couple of objectives. One is this year's theme is to empower women. So we would love to have more speakers that can speak to that and to help us become more diverse in that area. But also, we want to limit how many not-for-profits come and speak to us? And I want to be sensitive in saying that we are already doing a lot in the community with various not-for-profits and supporting organizations. It becomes a challenge if we have too many coming to us and trying to present their case as to why we should be involved with them. So I want to be mindful of that as a club. And so I would just ask you to help me in that regard. But I welcome any recommendations that you have for potential speakers for the coming year.
Jonathan has this position for 2 years, so he can go ahead and start figuring out what we're going to be doing next year as well. So just be aware of that. Jane.
President-elect. Thank you, Betsy. As I understand it so far, the two main responsibilities for the president-elect are to learn how to be president and to lead the foundation drive. So as it relates to learning how to be president, the PETS training, I'll be attending that with you, Drew. And there is Rotary Leadership Institute. There are lots of ways you can learn to be president. And I think you can put as much into that as you want to and as you're interested in doing. I think PETS is required. So some is required, but there's plenty of additional that you can do. There is the mid-year conference. There's, convention. There is an online portal that has a curriculum that I'm trying to work through right now. So, lots of ways, both in person and online, that you can learn what your responsibilities will be. And then secondly, you lead the foundation drive. And that is pretty important because it kind of gets at the crux of why we're all here, right? The Rotary International Foundation I'm going to use my time to do a quick commercial. The foundation drive will kick off here in a couple of months, but it was founded more than 100 years ago. We have invested more than $4 billion into life-changing and sustainable projects across the globe. One of the key projects that Rotarians have done is to play a major role in eradicating polio. So in addition to that, we've done things like projects that you've heard about in our club meetings that provide water and electricity and sort of basic needs for communities across the globe. And we've even done things like anti-bullying campaigns and now diversity-focused campaigns that promote safe and healthy learning environments for our children. So all those things are possible because of our giving to the Rotary International Foundation. And then, of course, we will also want to support VRCCF, which is our club's foundation as well. So those are the roles of the president-elect. Yes, help me by giving in the foundation drive. Do not make me hunt you down.
All right. We have two club service divisions. We have a service, which is all the things we hang out, do, have fun together. We also have fun with membership, but because we have membership, we need to keep membership and find new members. And so that's going to start here. We're going to talk about the general board.
Can I stand?
Yes. Go to the podium.
Hold on to do that. Okay. My role as the director of membership, as I see it, because I'm with Jane, I'm still figuring it out. My role is to assist the chairs of these 5 committees: the attendance committee, the membership and classification, orientation and education, family of Rotary, and membership development and retention. The first committee is attendance. What does that mean? Anybody have any idea what our attendance requirement is? 60%. I don't know if there was a joke in that. I did not hear it. Or I tried to ignore it. The attendance for our club, our specific club from our bylaws, is 60%. Until those bylaws change, that is going to be our attendance. This committee, what they do is promote attendance and assist members with makeup opportunities. So if they start to notice that people they're getting below that 60%, you may get a phone call from them
just says, hey, how's it going? And help you with some ideas of makeup opportunities. Every time you're not in this room, if you do a makeup opportunity, it's the same as being in this room. So the members of that committee, Roger Reed, Bob Sinclair, and Linus. That is where you can help me, right here. If you guys would like to be a part of this committee, I'll have a sign-up sheet afterwards. I would love for you to consider this particular committee. Membership and classification. I'm not reading that. It's long. Basically, what that means is when a membership application is received, it goes straight to this committee. Susie is the chair of that committee. She does a wonderful job. What they do is they get together, these folks right here, they decide, they approve the member, and then they classify the member of where they might go in. Am I right? Okay. I'm still getting it. So with that being said, the members of that committee are Randy Bostic, Dan, Michael Heineman, Nora Johnson, Dan Jordan, oh, I should have said that, Susie Lindsay, Ray Little, Jack Massari, Lori Reed, Jennifer Shepard, and Linus. The next one is orientation and education. When you become a new member, you get approved by the membership committee and then also by the board. And there's a bunch of other stuff. You go through orientation and education. Tom Carr is the chair of that committee. And there were so many of these, there did not fit into the slide. If you're a past president, you're on that committee. Whether you like it or not, apparently. I'm just kidding. Family Rotary, they assist members with absences, illnesses, and other life issues. What that means is if somebody has something going on, I used to be on this committee a couple years ago with Sana. What you do is we are a family, right? So we care for each other. When things happen, we are doing that. So if you didn't know that, this is happening in this club, and this committee is the responsibility to do that, whether it be flowers, whether it be a card just checking in on somebody, or a phone call. This is what these guys do. This year, the chair is Michael Barrett, and these are the members: Randy Bostic, Beth Dormany, Greg Irvin, Bill McCarthy, Mark McFerrin, Louis Rankin, Sana Robinson, Tim Stowe, and Alan Treadway. All right, my last committee is membership development and retention. So Charles is our chair, and the members of this committee are Curry, myself, Rod Freeman, Charles, Jeff Hughes, Michael Kaplan, Ray Little, Jennifer, is it Ruane? Ruane. Jared Tanksley, and Alan Treadway. And the whole purpose of this committee is to make sure that when a new member walks in this room, they feel comfortable, that they don't get lost in the shuffle of 120 members, because it is a little intimidating to walk in this room. I remember it from a few years ago. So this committee will be doing some activities to make sure those folks feel comfortable. But in addition, when visitors come, things like that. So it's specifically to help maintain the membership of this club. Thank you.
Oh, is that all you do? I'm sorry. That's why they had to split the club service. Can you imagine if you add what Sherry's going to talk about on top of that? Oh, yeah. Great start to the year, by the way. That's awesome. Sherry, you're the club service committee.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, because I'm really loud anyway, so this isn't gonna help. So I get to put together events, special events, fellowship that really sucked last year because we're doing it and we're doing it. We got it and no, we're not. Okay, Keely, so are we doing it? No, yes, no. So it was just like crazy. But we've got first responders coming up, September the 9th, that gets at my heartstrings because of all that they do for our community. That we'll hopefully have a Christmas banquet, we did the installation banquet. So I'm looking for folks that can help put legs to carrying things and setting up tables and chairs, and Larry Kane, you might want to join me on that. A little experience. I mean, you're sitting right there, you know. But so we hope, I've talked with someone about maybe going out, the girls going out to her place and then going to lunch and having kind of a girl time or some other things out of the box. I pray we can do, you know, safely and smart, because we've all just missed that, I think, and being together and seeing smiling faces and being able to talk with Ted when he comes in the door, and you know, those things are what fuel and feed us, because I'm used to giving back and giving back to the community, and that's just so important. And I think being able to do fellowship and being able to go to Granny White and and honor those folks are so important to our core and what we do and what feeds me. And what doesn't feed me is sitting at home on a Zoom meeting when I'm, want to see people in person. So I hope and pray we can do these events this upcoming year. We'll be smart about it. We will go with what the recommendations are. We'll be safe, we'll social distance, whatever we need to do. But I just think it's really key with the heartbeat of the club for us to try to do this year. I wanted to list the folks that I've got on the committee so far. And I think it's going to be called the J Club because I have Jordan, Jared, Jennifer, and Jody. And then there's me, Alan, and Devin. So there you go. But we'll be up here if you have any questions and go through specifics of events. But it's my honor to serve. So.
Next, we're going to go to Jennifer. I'll tell you why after. Vocational services.
All right, thank you. I've got a visual coming.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and go what I was going to say. Last week we talked about 5 avenues of service, and see, these are reflected in who we have on our board. These first 3 are going to be basically what we do here. And then we're going to go over to Bob and talk about what we do throughout the world. So it follows all the steps that we have in the 5 avenues of service.
Right. So I am serving as Director of Vocational Services this year, which encompasses everything vocational, the youth, the young people in schools, supporting schools and our youth. So that comprises 4 committees. I've never, the first PowerPoint I've ever created, so I have a little fun with it. So we've got the Youth Projects Committee, which is the International Youth Exchange Programs, which, shocking, is not happening right now, nor did it happen last year. So Linus and Beth are chairing that committee, and it's something that I think they've both been involved in and been passionate about for years. It's my understanding that those are suspended at least until next spring year. If and when we do know it's opening up, then Linus will let us know and get involved in taking applications, raising awareness, we need to let the youth here know that it's an opportunity, maybe the families here who want to host somebody. I think that has not been talked about to the whole club in a few years, so we've mentioned maybe having that as a topic for one of our meetings in the near future. So that might be something. The people on this committee, as of this morning, at least according to the club letter, so this is a little bit of what we're trying to straighten out with this. These are the people listed on the Youth Projects Committee right now. We've got Beth and Linus, John Helm, Sana Robinson, Tim Stoll, Gil Walker, and Patrick Wright. Just a side note, and I don't want to cannibalize any committees, but since there's nothing happening on this committee right now, anybody who's on this committee, you might consider taking a, not necessarily removing yourself from committee right now, but looking at to get involved and serve this year in some of our other committees that are very active, where we really could use you. Okay, our next committee is the Environmental Projects, which is primarily the Harpeth River cleanup, and that happens in January. Patrick Wright has chaired that for several years. He has organized it, done a great job with it. Our whole community is involved in that. That is not just youth, it is the entire community. And he runs it like a well-oiled machine. What he could really use is a co-chair to come along and maybe learn how that machine operates. He's done it for several years. That doesn't mean he wants to do it forever. And we can't let the community down because everybody relies on this. And if you spend any time on our local river, you just realize that keeping it clean, we're pulling rusty tricycles out. It's disgusting what happens. So we could really use somebody to jump in as a co-chair and maybe be his protege and learn how that works. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Here are the people, according to Club Runner, as of this morning, that are serving on that committee with Patrick Wright. We've got Bob Bellenfant, Betsy Crosley, Skip Hebert, John Helm, Leon Partain, Drew Rogers, Sid Smith, and Steve Smith. So if that is something that you want to get involved in, if you're on the committee and you want to become Patrick's protege, or if you're not on the committee and you would like to get involved or possibly start learning the rights from Patrick, let me know. We'll talk to
Our next committee is Interact, which is the high schools. It's a club at the high school level. We serve Brentwood High School and Overton High School. And you'll notice no one is listed there as a chair. There's a reason for that. We've got some great, very passionate committee members, but we don't have someone to spearhead this right now. So we could really use somebody to jump in. Here's where it stands now, as far as I understand. We have a really strong club at Brentwood High School. It's a teacher or the employee at Brentwood High School who sponsors that club, is a Rotarian and gets it. Fully understands the mission and supports a great club there. Overton High School, I think we may need to jumpstart it. Of course, they were remote all last year. I don't know what happened with clubs, but we need a liaison to kind of help figure that out and get that club going. So if that's something that you are passionate about or would like to just help us jump in and get that started, let me know. The people listed on that committee this morning, according to PubRunner, are no chair. These are all members, no chairs. We have Betsy, Steve Grisel, Michael Kaplan, Jody Roll, Tish Tisherman, and Patrick Wright. Committees is Patrick Wright.
A million.
I mean, and he's treasurer. I mean, come on. Okay, so the last committee is the scholarship committee. And we just had that scholarship meeting not too long ago, so you're all well aware that we offer scholarships at Brentwood High School, Ravenwood High School, and Overton High School. Jim Ryan has overseen that committee, and he has really got it. It's fantastic the way it's run. It's very, very well organized. We are launching a new scholarship. As many of you have heard, we have approved the funding for a scholarship in memory of Destin Legeza. And that will specifically be given to somebody from Williamson County going to MTSU to major in criminal justice. We could use some help getting that off the ground. Once it gets going, it'll be, like clockwork. We've got to market it to the schools. We got to do some PR. We have to really fine tune the specifics. So we would love someone who would like to help Jim and this committee specifically get that one off the ground. This one is a fairly large committee, but it's actually kind of subdivided into 3 subcommittees because right now there's 14 members on this committee, but they're sort of drilled down into the Overton High School People Committee, the Brentwood High School Committee, and the Ravenwood Committee. So we really need a few more on this to champion this new scholarship as we get it off the ground. The current members are Jim Ryan is the chair, Sheila Cleveland, Harold Vogelberg, Roger Greenup, Charles Grumman, Keely Hall, John Helm, Michael Kaplan, Dale Llewellyn, Hunter McCarty, Lori Reed, Jennifer Shepard, Jeff Talley, and Mike Walker. So anyone who wants to get involved, particularly to help us get this new scholarship rolled out and rolled out well, let me know. Thank you.
There's 2 more folks, international officers.
Yes, the International Committee, or International Collective Role, one committee under us, that is the World Community Service. Roger Greenup heads that. Several people have been involved in projects in the past on that committee. Dick Bowers, Sarah Johnson, Matt Kelton, John Morris, Joe Walker. I think a little later in the year, I think several members are going to talk about some of the projects that we're known for in this group. A couple that we mentioned are international kinds of things. We'll coordinate with our foundation to get some funding. I think we give some money each year to eradicate polio. And then I think in the past, Molly Chatterjee spearheaded the project in India. Matt Kelton introduced, I think, this group to some projects down in Belize, and that led to a bigger project. I think Harold Overberg. Charles Grumman led a project in India, got some computers for some young ladies, and I think he was telling me that. I think we sponsored $17,000, and I think the district also did. So with COVID, it's been pretty quiet. Roger says there's no planned projects right now because of limited travel. But if there's something you hear about, something you want to be involved in, Bridget, bring it to us and let's see if it's something we can work on like that.
All right, next is Sergeant at Arms Party and a few more announcements. So we're good.
Well, mainly, the Sergeant Arms Committee is a small committee of people that really set up for the meetings. So Bert Bradford, Warren Bryant, Mark Dean, and Linus really really set up and get this thing rolling, so when you come in, it's ready to go. But in addition to that group, I serve on the community service committee under Beth Doherty and community service, and that's the committee that I've been more involved in over the last few years. And that committee has done things like Second Harvest Goodnight. We did the habitat bills that we've done over the last few years. Some of those obviously have been changed due to COVID. We helped with the Baptist Children's Home. We asked them one time what they needed most. They had a room that they needed to really convert that room into a nice room that the youngsters could actually work and study in it. So we did a project over several weeks where we went in and repainted and redid the room, put new lighting in. It was a nice project, and we had a lot of participation in that. We hope as we get into the inclusive playground, that this committee will be involved in physical labor, as we said, rather than just writing a check. So this committee is fairly large. However, a lot of the members on it are rural 85s, and they don't participate as much as they might do. So hopefully we'll pick up some new members on that committee.
Thank you, Mike. You can see we're a hardworking folks. Get everybody up here. Thank God for being with us. It's fantastic. Board meeting at the 18th at First Horizon this time, not Bench Bank. Thank you. Don't forget that. 4:30 on the 18th. Do your badge vote by next Tuesday. I said Thursday. I changed my mind. Tuesday, because we've got so many people that have already said yes. On a serious note, remember that there's a visitation to Kenny Lane today, starting at 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and service at 6 at Harpeth Hill, and it is at 7209 Meadowwood. Oh, no, excuse me. If you want to send something to Marilyn, I have her address. That's 7209 Meadowwood Road, Fairview. So if you wanted to send something to me, you couldn't make it to the service, please bear that in mind. You can come up here and get that for me later on. One more thing for the sending folks off to the quote for the day. You know, I love sailing. George and I are going to sail off into the East Coast when we retire, supposedly, on a sailboat that we will buy. And so you will from time to time see quotes like this, but you know that the pessimist is always going to complain about the wind, and that the optimist expects it to change, but the realists adjust their sails. I hope you all get to be realists this week, yet enjoy the ride. Please help put up the tables and put the chairs up against the walls, or anything else with a bit of Rotary. All right, see you next week. We're adjourned.
If anybody wants to sign up for a committee, come up here and see me. That's right. If you want to sign up for a community day, please come up.
Thank you, Jim.